Well, hello, everyone, and thank you for joining me. I'm Jill Bloom, Group Publisher of Roofing Contractor, and welcome to our Best of Success podcast show. It's always an honor to have with me my great friend, Trent Cotney, partner with Adams Reese. Trent, thanks so much for joining me.
Hey, how you doing?
Really good, Trent. It's I always am grateful for the time that you spend with us to give everybody some legal insights at what is happening, and there's never a shortage of information that we need to get out there to everybody, especially today. It sounds like the big, beautiful bill has Section 179D has been repealed, and I wanted to dive in with you, Trent. What does everybody need to know? What does that mean?
Sure. So lots going on up in Congress in DC right now. And on May 22nd, the big beautiful bill tax package passed the House, moved on to the Senate. And the Senate has been wrangling over it. There's been a lot of concern, even among Republicans, about the spending amounts, and there wasn't enough reductions or ways to reduce the potential tax footprint that's going to result from a lot of these changes that want to happen. Within this bill, there's increased spending for military, border. There's also some tax cuts, for tips and overtime. So there are a variety of different things, many of which are good for businesses. But one of the things that we caught here was last week on June 16th. As the Senate deliberates on this, it goes through various committees, and the bill itself went to the Senate Finance Committee. And out of that Finance Committee, they decided to make certain changes. One of the changes was to repeal Section 179D for any construction that begins more than 12 months after the bill is enacted. So for those of our listeners that don't know what Section 179D is, it's part of the Internal Revenue Code that allows commercial building owners to deduct up to $5.81 per square foot for energy efficient HVAC, lighting, and envelope upgrades that achieve at least a 25% energy savings. So this impacts roofing, right? If you're doing,
It's a lot.
energy efficient roofing, it impacts, stucco and walls and ceilings work if it is, considered building envelope upgrades. It affects almost every industry in some form, because what we're seeing, Jill, is a lot of the commercial contractors out there, when they go to pitch a commercial owner or a commercial developer, part of their pitch is, hey, we understand it's going to cost this much, but you're going to be able to see a deduction of up to X because of this section. So our concern is that, look, if this gets repealed, and it's not final yet, right? This is just one of many committees that it has to go through in order to get to a final Senate bill. If it gets repealed, then that is potentially, detrimental to construction. So I wanted to make sure that our listeners were aware of that, make sure they reach out to their congressmen and women and let them know, let's keep Section 179D where it is.
Yeah, sounds like there's a lot to unpack there. I'm sure we'll find out more. But we were also talking, Trent. What do you think the time frame is in regards to what the next steps are for this bill?
Yeah, absolutely. So, still being marked up. If for some reason the Senate passes a version that includes the Section 179 repeal, there still has to go back to the House. There has to be a conference committee to determine what's going to survive and what's not going to survive. Originally they said, Jill, they were looking for a July 4th target date. That's not going to happen. There's just way too much wrangling. And to be honest, there's been a lot of other news that's kind of taken the forefront. Not to say that, the Senate hasn't been working on this, but it hasn't been top of mind. So, the key thing is, I think you're going to see over the next couple of months some continued negotiation, some continued wrangling. And that's why I think it's important that our voice is heard now.
No, this is awesome. Thank you so much, Trent. And so, but let's jump over to tariffs. It sounds like there's been some updates with China. What do we know so far? I don't know if there's a lot, but what do we know so far?
Yeah, just this morning, and obviously we'll update our listeners in the future. But it looks like there's a tentative arrangement with China to maybe reduce some of the tariffs and to provide some, have China provide some of the rare earth minerals that we need on our end. And Jill, this is, we kind of foreshadowed this. And one of the things I said is that you're going to see a softening of the United States' tariffs position as we get into summer. And what I meant by that is you're not going to see the same chaotic nature of, well, it's on, it's off, and you're going to start to see more of these deals. And the reason is because midterms, even though they're a couple of years away, fundraising starts now, right?
Yeah.
So if you're, a senator or a Congress, man or woman, and you're going back to your constituents, you don't want them to be upset because of tariffs, right? So that is why I think that this is just going to be par for the course over the next few months. You're going to see more and more trade deals, more and more things similar to what we saw with the UK just a few weeks ago, where it's going to start wrapping up. And the chaotic nature that we saw, the beginning of 2Q, I think is going to start dying down.
Yes, sounds great. Well, thank you so much, Trent. I really appreciate your time. It's always good insight. Hopefully that the Senate figures that out. But if anybody has any questions for you, though, Trent, how do they find you?
Sure. They can always email me, trent.cotney@arlaw.com, or hit me up anywhere social at Trent Cotney.
Sounds great. Thanks so much. And if anybody has any questions for us, it's roofingcontractor.com, wconline.com, or buildingenclosureonline.com. But bottom line, stay safe and healthy, and we can't wait to talk to you soon. Thanks so much, Trent.
Thank you.